Alright, welcome back. It was a brief intermission, but we're back with a very different game from Garfield, but also one that I very much enjoy speedrunning. It is, of course, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. So, this is actually the first ever game that I learned to speedrun, so there's a bit of history there. And we're going to be playing in a special mode called Pirate Mode, which I'll tell you all about in a brief moment. But first I'm gonna set it up. It can be a bit hair-raising, yeah. You'll see, Denari. Alright, countdown in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so here we go. This is the third game in the series. There are about to be 5 games, but yeah, this is basically meeting halfway. This is the only game that, I'm going to tell you right away, doesn't have the transformations that the other games have so far. What it does have is pirate equipment, and usually you collect the pirate equipment throughout the game, but this is pirate mode, and this is a so-called New Game Plus, where you basically wind up with all the equipment right away, which in this case allows for some very interesting sequence breaks and lots of really fast-paced action, like right away. So, yeah, no monkey. And also, yeah, enjoy these hot gems. As I go through this room, I try to take out these guards. I try to get a certain amount of money, because these gems will help me get items for shopping. And gonna see how lucky we get here. This is gonna be quite a bit of RNG, I can tell you right away. So what you see here is Skull Town. It's in a bit of a mess right now. There's things happening. We'll probably find out soon enough what it is. For now, we just dash through everything. That's one of the upgrades that we get later. We also have a couple of items that we got from Sky in the beginning, and Ball as well. We got amongst them the pipe ball that I'm now using, and it's basically this item that hovers around my head and which does extra damage. And we will be using that quite a bit in the run, especially in the second half. Again, you'll see that soon enough. Okay, so I got 20 gems. It's pretty okay. Could have been better, could have been worse. So now we fight the first boss, which is the Ammo Baron. Speaking of RNG, we hope for some good RNG. This is kind of like it. We want the red cannonballs to be seen, so as soon as we see those, we hit those, they fire back at the Baron, and that's how we deal damage. This is what we don't want to see, and hopefully this doesn't take too long. Okay, that was pretty okay still. Because at some point, you know, this is why I use my pipe ball to do extra damage, and eventually it runs out. You can actually do without the pipe ball, but it might not always guarantee a 3 cycle the way I did it now. So yeah, that was the first fight. Red to go, indeed. I actually forgot to say that. What's wrong with me? Alright, time for some lore. So how did this town get to be the way it is now? So, turns out that the town was being sold to the Ammo Baron for the mere sum of a box of actually chocolate by the mayor. In the meantime, Shantae gets these court summons, which basically means that she's grounded and not allowed to go anywhere for the time being, until further notice. So yeah, in the meantime we see all of the other characters, all of Shantae's friends, and you know what. So yeah, that was a pretty tense beginning, didn't you think? So, it's a good time for a bath. That sounds nice, right? Sounds nice. Except, you know, Shantae doesn't actually own a bathtub, so there's a kink in this whole situation here. It's a trap tub, basically. Who could it be set by? Oh, there we go. It's Risky Boots. Risky Boots, as some of you may know who have played the game before, is the main nemesis of the series, or the main villain. In this case, she needs a little help from Shantae because her henchmen, these Tinkerbats, got turned into Cacklebats by means of dark magic. And we have to basically get rid of the dark magic in order to complete the game and get them back to where they were. Also, we have to fight this one. That was a bit of a weird setup, but gonna see if I can make quick work of this. But yeah, that's where we're gonna help Risky out this time around. So we're sort of grouping up. And now we get this magic lamp. This will allow us to suck up all kinds of dark magic, and it will be used for other things too. I can tell you right away, this is the only instance of dark magic that we're gonna get in the game, because this is 80%, and this will only give us a certain ending, without giving away too much, of course. So first, we're gonna visit Sky. She's gonna give us a library card, which apparently I can use to get past the guard. Even though I look nothing like the picture, but that doesn't seem to be a big deal. Also, as per most Shantae games, we need to save here. We need to save before we can do things, because otherwise they tell you, oh, you must save first. And we'll do that, of course, because we have no choice. Alright, so we show the card, and we're free to go. Let's go for some scarecrows. And we basically try to hit most of them in order to get certain items, like, well, you saw this spike ball drop, that was actually pretty good. It's not always guaranteed that you'll get items in the first place, so anything is certainly welcome. So you get spike balls or food items. Anything will be useful eventually. The bento box is also one of the food items that you can get, and yeah, these orcs tend to drop them as well. Alright, so we're gonna visit the Squid Baron. Or actually, he's gonna let us in the sewers. We're gonna be doing a couple of things. Now keep in mind, if you played this on normal mode, you might not instantly recognize all of this. But that's also because, in a certain way, the game becomes a lot more linear this way. Because you just go through certain parts without having to backtrack and all that in true Metroidvania style. So in that sense, it's quite a different experience. But like I said, it's very fast-paced. So we're not supposed to have this pistol, we're not supposed to be doing this stabbing already and all that. So we got 3 flash pops from these sewers, and I got them from these slugs or these snacks, I guess. You decide whatever you like best. And we give those to the children, and he gives us a brochure. We give the brochure to the Squid Baron because we want to set up on a holiday. Because the Squid Baron is a little bit tired of being fulfilling the same role every single Shantae, namely that of being the mid-boss. So we're gonna send him on. We're gonna give him a break and send somewhere, you know, somewhere nice, so he can do something else for a bit. All right. There's no debate. There's slugs. Seriously though. Anyway, we get the summons here in the library. We can finally grab this map of the Forbidden Isles. So now we're able to go other places too, which is where the game opens up. So there we go. Let's see. I'm gonna check. I think I have a pike ball which I can use here. I do. Okay. I can use that one to instantly defeat the orcs because there's a sort of build-up in how much damage you do. Like, if I didn't have the pike ball, I wouldn't be able to defeat these orcs like right away. So that sort of builds up eventually, and you see that also by the way you go through these enemies faster. Like, imagine if you had a whole string of them or a whole set of them in a row, that would go a lot faster. Okay, so that's basically it for scarecrows, for now at least. Didn't get a lot of items, at least a couple of things, so you know it's more than nothing. And for return the card we get 100 monies, which we will use for our first shopping round. Traditionally I'll be getting 3 pirate flares and a super pike ball. And well, as you could expect, the super pike ball is the upgraded version of the regular pike ball that I'm still that is still hovering around me somehow. Alright, we set sail to this island. You wonder, Saliva Island, why is it called Saliva Island? Well, it will explain itself. I'm not going to give away too much. There's a bit of fun of letting people discover that. So we had a couple of these crabs, hoping that they drop some items. There's a couple of items that we might not always get, by the way. Oh, that was a bit of a weird drop. Oh, there we go. And what I just did there, I basically opened up the door underneath that platform there for fast traveling. Okay, so now we see Twitch and Vinegar. They want to have a holiday and they want to swim, but there's no water, so we have to provide that. And how do we do that? Well, we go up here first. This is a shortcut, by the way. Again, in normal mode you can't really do this like this, but this is a different thing altogether. Alright. And by doing this, we skip a bit of animation that wakes up Giga Lummox and, well, I told you, Saliva. There it is. But yeah, it skips a bit of the animation. I could have done another thing to make it last even less longer, but I didn't quite get that. Kind of depends, really. So at least, yeah, there's water and the girls can swim, so there's the holiday. In the meantime, we get this petrify spell because, you know, things happen, as you saw in the background. And I'm like, okay, enjoy, I'm out of here. It's still swimming us alive, of course. So with that, we go down here, and we visit this old dude, whose wife got petrified, and we tried to give this petrify in a spell in an attempt to revive his wife, but that, of course, didn't quite work out, and now they're joined together again under very different circumstances. And also the weight of those petrified enemies sort of broke the ground, and now we go into our first den, which is this spittle maze. First thing we do is dash in here, and suddenly, hey, we are in Retroville now. And for those who know, yes, this is a Game Boy Color Shantae inspired. This is literally the first dungeon, basically, so for those who have played it might recognize this quite well. So what we do here is pick up a couple of keys, and this is where food items are getting useful. We use those to override the key animation because it saves roughly 2 to 3 seconds, I think, every single time you're able to pull it off. But it kind of depends on, you know, how much food you have. You can also do it with potions, but you have to, of course, buy those. But there's lots of customizations that way, and that's pretty cool. So we're gonna go over here. I'll try, I think. Alright. Pick up the second key. This is a very nice place. It has like 2 keys all at once. And then we take Death Abuse in order to get back here. Saves a little bit of time. Alright, let's go through these enemies and see what they have. There's still an item that I'm looking for that I didn't quite get before, which is a power-up called the Monster Milk. Again, those also have a super variety, so you could also you also have the Super Monster Milks. But those help you defeat enemies quicker, so that's what I'm hoping for still. There's still a lot of time in the game to get them, but it's a nice thing to have it right here. Makes it a bit easier. Now we've got these sub-bosses, these wetmen as they're called, and we use a cannonball, so we downward stab and do a thing here to get some extra damage in, just like that. Hey, what's up, Tina? Also one of the other Shantae speedrunners. So yeah, we're about to head off to the real next boss, I guess, because, you know, it started off with the Elmo Baron, but now we're getting the real deal, because we are fighting this Cyclops plant. So yeah, it's gonna be very long 2 phases, so get ready. Actually, scratch that. This is leading into the second phase, because the first phase with pirate equipment is really, really short. For the second phase, we try to get ourselves up on the ceiling, do repeated hits. Didn't quite get that. See if we can still manage this. There we go. Ideally, you would just do the thing I did in the beginning and just do that over and over again. And with a Monster Milk, that is, of course, faster, but, you know, it depends on whether it drops or not. Or you have to get extra money, of course. Alright, that's the first boss down, so now we see those Tinkerbats. This is a recurring thing. They'll give us a map that will bring us to the next part of the game. In this case, Spiderweb Island. Yeah, Tinkerbats. I know, right? Cacklebats, Tinkerbats, it's all here. It's a wild game. Okay, this is what I just opened up earlier, so we're just gonna take advantage of that and head out of here. Back to Risky. And yeah, away from the saliva into Spiderweb Island. So, if you're afraid of spiders, beware.
Is now a good time for some donations?
Sure, go for it.
We have $5.11 from Maggie, who says, "Ret to go."
Thank you so much for the donation.
I also have $20 from Amerlin, who says, "I'm sorry I ruined meme number, but I gotta put some cash in for my girl Peach."
Thank you for the donations. Okay, so now we have this fossil. It seems like a very random item that you find, but it will be put to use later. It's kind of like a thing that you hold on to for a while. But yeah, first we're going into a speedrunner's favorite part, namely this. So, speaking of spiders, here's the Emperor Spider who is holding Valuethon captive. Of course, we rescue her, and then she tells us, okay, bring me back home to Abner because I'm about to get sick. So this starts this sort of auto-scroller type of thing called Run Run Runny Tops. So enjoy the hot jumps. This will be like a couple of minutes long, but there's a lot to be seen here, and it's pretty eventful. I really have to make sure not to get hit too many times. Ideally, not at all, but yeah. Let's put a guess in. How often does Chad think I will get hit? Well, besides this one. Because this is a bit of RNG here. Those gatekeepers either open their mouth before you arrive or just after that. But I see some guesses. I'm gonna play it a bit safe here because of what I screwed up in the beginning. It's a relatively small time loss, but ow. That's 2. Oops, okay, whatever. I guess I'll play it safe here. It's kind of tough to do if you sort of jinxed it before, but there we are. Normally I would set up for a manipulation of sorts that would get me through there faster, but yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. So now we play the waiting game, and we have to get past these spiked doors, and sometimes you have to be patient. In this case, not too bad, because you have this music and there's still a lot to be seen. To include the gatekeeper. Yep. Alright. This looks very scary, but don't worry, those hands won't get me anytime soon. Now there's 2 of them, oh my. Okay, so that's that part. Gonna see if I can jump over here. Brief turnaround. So now we come to, into the part where we meet these tombstones, which you think, well, that sounds okay, but now you see these tiny crabs appear underneath. At least I think those are crabs, but it's completely random as to where they appear, so you have to be very careful where you walk. As you saw, you have to redo the room if you get it wrong. Also, here we go. There's a couple of jumps. I mean, I have to do them. I have no choice. I have no say in the matter. I have to do these, otherwise the run is not valid. That's a community thing. Anyway, those are called stake jumps. And if you thought the hitboxes would be accurate, not always. See, stake jumps are required. Tina knows. So now we get these robots that go after me and try really hard to kiss me, and sometimes they almost meet, but not quite. Doing some jumps here. So this is what I basically dubbed the end of part 1 of Run Run Runny Tops. There's a brief break here. You got a couple of these stones. I usually jump over them because, surprises can still be a thing. And there we go. They are cute. Also, I was gonna say cute, but got these enemies shooting things, and we've since called them Stevens because, it sounds like a decent enough name. But yeah, that can be pretty surprising. Okay, I missed a door, and I barely missed that thing. Still not sure what to call that, but anyway. Oh, okay, that was a pretty easy, what they call taco jump, so shoutouts. See, now the run is actually valid. Got stake jumps, taco jumps, now we're in there. And now this is the biggest room in the game. If I die here, I'm gonna lose quite a bit of time, so hopefully nothing too bad happens. Just gonna make sure that I don't jinx it too much. Which has happened before, believe me. I've been there. Just gonna be patient when I need to. Gonna run when I need to. There we go. One more thing. Right over here. This is still a really scary part, actually. I've had runs recently where I died specifically to this part and I still had to redo the whole thing. So we got another cackle bat. But yeah, that was actually pretty good. So how many deaths was that, or how many hits was that in total? I think it was 3, if I'm not mistaken. So it wasn't too bad. I've had worse. So now we brought Valuethon back home to Abner, and turns out, of course, that she wasn't sick and she was just enjoying the ride. So yeah, there we go. We fixed that. Now we visit Abner's brother Poe, who got this super awesome wagon, except it broke down. Thankfully, we got squid oil back at Skulltown, so we can help out a bit. Yeah, there was some in the beginning. I don't think I've really had any afterwards. There was one that's in that, well, second room, I guess, but I'm trying to think. I don't know. Also, we got the shrivel thing, and it smells. You can't skip this text box. It's again one of those items that we dispose of, or that we dispose of, that we give away pretty quickly because, you know, someone needs a shrivel thing, and for us, luckily enough, it gives us access to the next den, in this case, the Cackle Tower. So there we go. So in here we try to get a first bit of item luck with, basically item luck with these pike balls, hoping that I get quite a few of them. Especially the super pike balls are very much appreciated because those will be pretty epic, as you may possibly see. So let's see, nothing there. So now get into this room. You don't always have to go to this room, but I usually do so really because it gives you a nice chance of picking up an additional super item, namely from this bad gal. So I'm just going to see if I can get lucky here. Hey, super monster milk, that's a really good drop. I'm always glad to get that because it doesn't always drop us equally often as super pike ball does. So bad gals can drop either super pike ball, super monster milk, or in some cases a pirate flare, which can also be handy, but you know, if you got a super monster milk, then you might possibly want that, I guess. Alright, now thanks to our pirate equipment, we can already go all the way up here, otherwise we'd have to activate the wind down there and get ourselves up here. We would eventually get one of the pirate items, but now we just do it the fun way. Yeah, basically what Nori said, the Nori flare. We've been sort of calling it the Nori flare. I was almost not gonna say it, but there you are. Because some people get it very frequently, apparently, and we have no idea how that happens, but it does. So we fly up here. Just gonna grab this, why not? Don't worry, I've had it before. We've been there. Alright, so this is where we use the super pike ball. It's gonna be handy against the next boss, which, hey, of course, is the Emperor Spider, because we just met her. We just met the Emperor Spider. So let's see what we can do here. So we try to get ourselves up here, and basically, as soon as we get hit, we can repeat the cannonball hits, because normally speaking, you can do a maximum of 3 cannonball drops before you are forced to fall back down again, but you can sort of repeat that over and over again. And, you know, if you do it the right way and not get knocked sideways, you can make a pretty quick fight of it, which usually doesn't happen, but this was probably one of my better efforts. When I was practicing for this last week, I've had some pretty decent Emperor Spider fights. So yeah, it's always nice if that happens. Alright, we got the next map. We go to Ten Line Island.
Oh yeah.
And so this is where the pirate flares come in handy. We bought those back in Skulltown. Those instantly send us back to the ship. As soon as you're outside, you can basically get yourself back directly, and you don't have to worry about traveling back. No worries about, you know, doing that whole Roddy Top sequence over and over again, because you only have to do that once. Surprise, surprise. Okay, this is slightly different territory.
Let's go.
So there we go. Here we hope to get some items from these tiny creatures. Hopefully a bubble shield or a monster milk. I usually hope for the bubble shield myself. That's like one of those drops out in the open that I kind of would like right away, but it's not always a guarantee, of course, because item RNG is very much a thing in the speedrun. I think that's one of the fun things about it too. You never know what you're gonna expect, really. There's ways to sort of make things consistent, but there's a certain fun factor in finding out what will happen. Oh yeah, in the meantime we met the Squid Baron, who was of course on holiday, but didn't seem to enjoy it very much. So we cheer him up, and as a thanks he gives us these X-ray specs, which we'll also use eventually. Just like the fossil that we got earlier on. What will it be for? You'll find out soon enough. See if I can get something here. Okay. Now we do some backtracking. We go over here to get a so-called mummy sketch. Also a thing that will be that you realize later what it's for. Oh wait, I can't do this right away. I'm gonna grab some extra money because I think I want to set up for a 2 shopping round. So I'm gonna grab some money here. It's a very convenient spot to do so because you get 3 gems every single time you hit the walls if you run in and out of the screen. So it always made it a very convenient way of getting lots of gems. So yeah, now we see this sarcophagus, and we have to get a couple of mummy sketches in order to get to the next part. And they're somehow throughout the entire game. Well, so far, at least. Alright, back to Scarlet Town. We'll see what's up here. They're renovating, apparently. So in the meantime, Sky is looking to get engaged to Barracuda Joe, who's standing over there with a beautiful mustache. They also bring in this sarcophagus, which they accidentally read, even though it says don't read, and Joe gets petrified. Oh no, they have to call off the engagement. In the meantime, we pick up this mummy sketch. The lore's moving pretty fast here. Alright, second jumping round. Let's see, I'm gonna get this, and then we get a super monster milk, because like I said, it's not an item that drops very frequently, so having an extra one on board is definitely a good thing. And by the time you get back to Scuttle Town, you usually have enough money to get at least those items. The 2 pirate flares that I bought were basically what you could consider part of the 3rd shopping round, so you could get them later, but I decided to combine them because I figured I'd had enough money or almost enough money to get that. So now we head down here, hit all these skeletons. You saw them in Cackle Tower as well. I basically tried to see if I can get, well, I would like to get super pike balls, but they usually drop pike balls as well. So let's do another round, see what happens. I got all, okay, there's the super pike balls, so that's at least something. So now we got the 3rd mummy sketch, which means we get a combination of Fishline Gator. Or I usually abbreviate it, in this case, FLG. Fishline Gator. Gotta remember it for a brief bit. So let's see, go over here. Going back to the temple. Okay, we're gonna downward stab here, see what we get. Fishline Gator. That's not a fish. This is a fish. This is also not a lion. I'm having some issues here. But we get there. Oh, I shot once too many, but usually I do the downward step, and it oftentimes gives me very good results in that some of the wheels turn in exactly the correct position, so yeah, that's nice. Alright, now we're going to the 10-Night Temple. Turns out that the princess of this place is missing, and now they mistake me for the princess, which means they're gonna celebrate, and in the meantime they're gonna lock me up in here, which means we're gonna escape because, you know, we're not supposed to be here. And we get the stealth-like section, usually referred to as Metal Gear Shantae. We have to make sure not to get seen by those guards. There's a couple of optimizations that you could do here, including in here you can do some very quick cycling that you can do this faster, but let's see. Fun line game. Get another key. Okay, let's see here. Okay. This is always a bit of a scary part because you never know if you're gonna miss the jump or not. But there we go. If you lose, if you get caught here, then you lose by far the most time out of all of those parts, because this is where you lose like almost a minute, I think. So redoing that is pretty tough. The jump is impossible, I know, right? Especially under a certain amount of stress. I've been able to pull it off most of the time, I must say. But yeah, the first jump is the one I find kind of scary, and I usually try not to say anything beforehand. So yeah. And that last jump, you have to sort of time in a certain way that you still don't get caught, so you basically jump past him, sort of. So in the meantime, we got all these keys, and we used them here to rescue all of my friends. As it turns out, they were mistaken for the princess too, and that includes Ruddytops, because Ruddytops is everywhere, but we also rescued Risky and Sky. And you wonder, how did they get there so quickly? That's a good question, but anyway. We all work together in order to pull down this very big rope, because, you know, some doors need really big ropes. No worries about that. And then we face off and see the king, and oh, it turns out the princess has actually returned, and she kind of looks like the statue over there, and she's only been grocery shopping for like 30 minutes, so it's not like she's been gone for very long, but, you know, if you fail to recognize faces, then, you know, it can be a bit tough. Anyway, we got a golden axe in return, a golden pickaxe. We're gonna use it here to break down this wall. Give him some work to do. And then, oh no, suddenly enemies. Good opportunity for me to see what I've got. Okay, I need to get some items. Most ideally at this point I would like to have 4 super monster milks and 4 super pike balls, basically corresponding with each boss that I will be encountering still. But I got some regulars as well, so, you know, it's at least I got some items at least, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, we're just dashing through here. All the fun stuff. Into the last catacombs. Okay, so one thing I didn't explain, what you see me do here is basically I use both of my inputs. Oh, I want to see what this is. Monster milk, not so bad. But I use both of my controller inputs, my analog stick and my D-pad, in order to set up this... oh, didn't I pick up the key? But yeah, I set both of those up in order to sort of keep the momentum going, and that way I can charge my dash, which usually only happens if you steer yourself one direction, but yeah, in this case it sort of works out nicely. I have to be careful here, because for those who don't know, I did lose my auto potion, so I have to be a little bit careful. There we go. Okay, got a gauntlet room of sorts, we got a couple of enemies to beat. There's this mantis, who has given me lots of gems, which is nice. And usually this is where I hope to get some more items, but I think none of these corp gals that I've encountered here have actually given me anything, so yeah, that's unfortunate. Oh damn, I was gonna set up for a one cycle of sorts. Damn, that was unfortunate. Okay, we're gonna try it again. Well, not the one cycle Catacombs Crusher as it's called, because then I would be able to get through here in one try, but I kind of goofed it up. That's okay. Okay, I'm gonna save over here, because I lost my auto potion, and I really want to make sure that I don't want to be sent back too far if I die, because that's a thing that can happen, you know, if anything. So yeah, it's time to face the next boss, which is the Squid Baron. Hey, there we go. Turns out Squid Baron is the mid-boss once again. Exactly that what he didn't want to be, but there we go. That's how it goes sometimes. Also pretty hot gems here. So yeah, this is... yeah, Squid Baron, best Baron, let's face it. And now even better, because now we got Squid Baron 2.0. And now we basically break down the shield. Hopefully it starts eating first. There we go. Because that way I can do a lot of damage, and especially with these super items, that's like really cool. You can set it up really quickly. But yeah, there we go. That was the Squid Baron fight. You probably have all been waiting for. And so we have a talk. Turns out that the Squid Baron is finally content with being the mid-boss, the mid-game boss again, so good for him. And we can carry on, we get the next map, so we can go places again. Let's see. Yeah, rescue save. It's funny how everybody really gets back to their own places really quickly. Okay, so we head off to the next island first, but we have to do a bit of a detour here because we got these items, and we got the fossil, we got this these X-ray specs from the Squid Baron earlier on, and in return we get the death mask, and this is going to be our key into the village on the next island. So yeah, which is right over here, Mudbug Island. So just saying, this part in pirate mode is a lot easier than on normal mode. You get a lot of benefit here using all of the things like the dash and the cannonballs and the scimitar and everything. Oh, I kind of goofed it up there. Let's just try it from here again. That can still happen, but in general it's a lot safer because you don't have to deal with all these enemies that suddenly come out of nowhere. That can be pretty scary sometimes. Okay. Sometimes what you can do there is a momentumless boots, as it's called. Basically, you keep your dash if you jump at exactly the right moments. But yeah, I didn't quite set it up correctly, unfortunately. Would have been nice, but it is what it is. So this is where we hand off the death mask, and that will allow us into this village of lost souls. Sounds pretty spooky, I guess, but there you go. Right, heading over here. Tiny hat so we get past that enemy. See, gonna fly over here. So in this case we have to collect 3 coins because we will be playing this game against a so-called group of coin gamers, and as you might have expected, possibly it is pretty RNG based, so you might get ready for that. Might want to get ready for that. First, we're gonna travel all over here. I don't have any food items anymore or any potions, otherwise I would have used them here. But yeah. Okay, so what I set up there, it looks pretty weird because I I did sort of do the charge, the first part before I got over there, before I did the screen wrap, I must say, and I activated it afterwards. It's called the delayed charge. So that way I can dash even from smaller platforms such as that, because otherwise if you would do it normally, you would just it would just get interrupted there. Oh, there we go. That was the last of the 3 coins. Got some more ghosts to deal with, so hopefully that turns out alright, because they can be pretty scary, not gonna lie. You never know where they're gonna appear, but that seemed to be alright. Sometimes it's a bit of a run killer, that's for sure. You really have to be... Oh, there we go. That was scary. Okay, let's play this game. Let's see what they say. This is heads or tails. We hope that they say heads like all the time. Looks good. Marathon lock. It takes up until 4 tries to get the right combination. After 3 tries, they will give you basically heads if you answer that. So yeah, that's not too bad. I've had way worse than that. Like sometimes they control you, just send you all the way to the last guy, and then they would still say tails, and you head back. And so in the meantime, we got this Hope of Flame. We exchanged a lock for the flame, and we used the flame here, and now we got this odor called Manly Musk, which sounds pretty good. All right. And this Manly Musk will be used to stink up this place, and as such, we enter the next den, the Oubliette of Suffering. So yeah, this is a den you won't be seeing a lot of necessarily, because now thanks to all of the items that we have, we can skip the vast majority of it, like 70% of it or something. So that is a lot. Gonna do another... I totally forgot to mention what the name was of that move. It's called the Risky Shuffle. I mean, it's like one of the main speed tech thingies in this game, but I somehow didn't mention it by name. But yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. Alright. Gonna save over here before the dag run, because this also can be quite a bronc killer, just to make sure that nothing bad happens. Just gonna do it this way. I have no idea how many items I've got and whether I'm able to use both a Monster Milk and a Pike Ball, but we'll see. I'm gonna check my inventory real soon. Let's see. Oh, I got lots of things except no super Pike Balls. So this is gonna be all the way regular. Get ready for a little bit of a longer fight. Let's see if we can speed it up by hitting the dragon from up top as well. This could take a little bit longer. The main thing is to be patient. If you get caught somehow, then... Oh, this is getting a bit scary. Okay, get ourselves back in position. Ooh, okay, that was a... But you have to sort of see where the dagger will land eventually, so you shouldn't move around too much. The only thing you know is it will appear either on the left side or the right side, depending on where it was last. But otherwise you sort of have to anticipate it, really. But anyway, we made it through, and that's the most important part. Another Tinkerbat giving us a map. We have something rather the oubliette of chicken sandwiches, or the oubliette of enjoyable roller coasters. Yeah, roller coasters though. Let's talk about that. Alright, so we got out here, we got this lost soul, and we have no idea who it belongs to yet. All we know is it's got this mustache, so that might be a bit of a hint. Sounds enticing, yep. So funny thing is, we were in this village, but technically it's not outside. You can only use a pirate flare on when you're in outdoor locations. So I had to get out first before I could use it. Anyway, we're heading off to Frostbite Island because, you know, it sounds like a good change of pace. What constitutes a roller coaster being enjoyable? It rolls, probably. Okay, speaking of super pike balls, like I said before, I kind of need them. These wolves can drop super pike balls, so I kind of hope for them to do so. Otherwise, I will have enough money to buy another 2 super pike balls, so it shouldn't be a big deal, but ideally I wouldn't shop anymore, so we'll see how it goes. Oops, there we go. Oh, damn. Missed all of them. Just imagine what it could have been. Nothing there. I realized I got pretty lucky recently, just oh, there we go, there's one. See, we still got lucky. So that's one of the drops I still want, because I do have the milk still, so, you know, in that sense I'm good. And yeah, as Nori pointed out, it's a very small chance that it drops really. Like 5%. Actually, both the Super Pike Ball and the Super Monster Milk, because those can be dropped too, both have a pretty small chance of being dropped there. If you look on the speedrun page on speedrun.com for this game, you can find a drop table of sorts, and that details every enemy and what items they can drop and what the percentage is of in which they can drop the item. So it gives you a bit of an idea, like who drops what. So yeah, in the meantime we've made it all the way up here to Propeller Town, and we've been non-stop climbing basically. Now we're just gonna make sure that we don't get hit by anything. Also ice physics, as you would expect perhaps. Got the return of the kissing robots. Also a good time. Hi there, bye there. Alright, so over there, That's a funny thing. Some runners have... Well, there have been runners who've been able to do that. I'm not one of them, but you can... oh, I totally set that up wrong. But you can do a certain skip if you have the auto potion, which I lost earlier on. But you can use that to build up a tiny window in which you can do another set of jumps, and that allows you to skip this entire thing. You can get here to Bolo very quickly. Also, here's Bolo, who's apparently doing things with targeting modules and working together with the enemy, perhaps? With the ammo baron? Seems weird. I guess we'll find out soon enough what it is about. Okay, some more backtracking. We go back to Spiderweb Island. Mainly because we have the soul, and who better to ask about it than an undead person, right? So seems like they might know something about it over here. So in the meantime, we take another riot. We just skip the entirety of Run Riot Subs, so no worries there. Okay. Back to Abner Righty Tops, they're both doing pretty well apparently, so yay. And turns out this spirit belongs to Barracuda Joe, so we know what to do next. Also, we get this death mask and it gives us a free pirate flare, which is very convenient. We can use that to get out of here like right away. Although, to be fair, I had some more pirate flares, but I'm basically setting up to use it everywhere that I want to use it, basically. So I'm gonna briefly check my inventory. Oh, I also don't have the bubble shield. I'm gonna do some shopping here before I continue on. I'm gonna buy myself another super pike ball, and I'm gonna buy myself a bubble. I could have bought another one, but I'll leave it here. Okay, so once again we go through the scarecrow fields. We don't have to hit the scarecrows anymore because we basically got what we wanted. I could have opted to hit some of them to possibly get item drops, but seeing how random that is, you know, might just as well fly over them instead. So as you remember, in Ten Line Island we got this sword, which we will be giving to this dude over here, Legally Distinct He-Man Branson. You see what happens, it's a pretty magical sword apparently. So there we go, and especially for the fans. I cheated a bit, but yeah, this is what I call the Nutbuster. So yeah, enjoy. Right, this sends us back over here, and let's finally wake up Barracuda Joe with the spirit. Hey guys! So yeah, Barracuda Joe wakes up and decides that he wants to be single again, so poor Sky, but the engagement is off. So yeah. Now we go to the Ammo Baron, we give this module. They apparently have this entire thing aimed for the palace. We'll see where it goes. Although this does not look like the palace, and turns out that Bolo configured it so that it would hit here instead, which may or may not be accidental, but anyway, we're pretty glad about that, because we know where to go next. Alright. So I guess we go back to Frostbite Island. See what it's all about. Just gonna fly over here. We don't have to deal with these werewolves anymore, basically. Just gonna go over here. And yeah, this is also, in this abandoned factory, you do skip a lot of the content here. Like, it's pretty straightforward. Especially now that we've gotten the key from a previous den. And that's a fun thing about the keys. You can use them pretty much anywhere. You saw that also in the 10-line temple when I used all those keys from before. And in this case, if I wouldn't have gotten the key from the catacombs, I would have gotten one here, right above my head. Not this one, but in the room before that. So there we go. And this is the last key in the game. Now we just have to, well, finish the game basically. Hope to get lucky. So yeah, this is gonna be fun because this next boss is very RNG. This is the Steel Maggot. And you have to push buttons, and you hope to push the right ones. Okay, I'm gonna play it safe here. I don't wanna risk it too much. Okay, so it's 2-3. Going for some Marathon safety here. And okay, we didn't have that, but we do have this. Okay, I didn't get the so-called pogo strats, but yeah, that's what you have to do. You have to hit those 3 buttons and then hit its tail basically. And do that a couple of times, ideally only like twice, but you never know how it's gonna go. This is actually not too bad in terms of RNG. Like, this is a nice little 2-cycler. What I tried to do initially was sort of poke myself in between that lower part of the ceiling and the tail. And that way it's potentially possible to get a 1-cycler. But I don't think I've ever really gotten that. Maybe once, but... yeah, so 50 maggot, not too bad. It was being kind. It's not always this kind. There have been PB paces where it certainly wasn't kind. That's sometimes also my own doing because, you know, reasons. It's very easy to get tripped up there and just mix it up. But yeah, we go back to the ship. We go to the Lonely Grave, which is a final place to go to. There's not much else here except the grave. We just go here and we visit it. This is where we need to go, and that might wrap it up. Also, bird. Turns out there's a pirate master here, and things don't quite work out according to plan. So the pirate master is now holding Risky Boots captive, and we have to rescue her in a odd turn of events. So there we go. We go back to our ship, we moist the main snail, as to say, and we are heading off back to Scuttletown. And now everything is really dark and rainy and all that. And all that's left for us to do is to just head over there and see if we can save the day. Also, trying not to pick up those hard squids, because this is any percent, and we don't need hard squids in this category. Also, gonna do this, flying over all of these branches and all that, because they closed a gap that was underneath me once. So if I would break that again, just like hitting enemies, that would cost me some time, and this would basically save that, just flying over there. Now for the final set of trials. This is going to be a fun one, because we're going to skip all of these trials by just doing this combination of cannonballs and hats, really. So basically I do it like this. I can do a couple of extras as well, which is pretty fun. See, gonna grab that. It's a bit of a tight window, but yeah. You mostly got to be very patient with, especially the cannonball jumps, I find. So if you do that, then it's pretty doable. Okay, I'm gonna save here just in case I wind up dying to the Pirate Master, because you never know, no other potion whatsoever. So, okay, into the last part we go. We got everything, and see where it goes. So we're gonna equip 3 things, which is Bubble Shield, Super Pike Ball, Super Monster Milk, and then we're just gonna keep hitting and hope to get some good RNG, because as you can see, its positioning can be pretty nearby, and we kind of hope that it appears next to us, which is not always the case. Okay, just like this. We'll end up in the middle. That's when you know the second phase will start. Right over there. Ooh. Oh my god, I got away with that one. That was so close to me dying. Maybe very glad I saved. Oh, get ready on time, by the way. That's gonna be in a moment right now. So, there you go. I almost forgot to mention that. But, yeah, that's this run, basically. And, like I mentioned before, we didn't get all the dark magic, so this is not the real ending, or not the full ending, so to say. In this case, Shantae is still looking for her magic that is missing, because she's usually a half genie, and it's only if you get like the full ending that she gets her full genie powers back. So we didn't quite get that, but at least we saved the day for now. So, you know, there's that. Yeah, in my case, the Bias player was 53-22. So that's actually my best marathon time so far. I've done this a couple of times before, and I've gotten some times in the 55-minute range, but that was also with a Valuetops that section that kind of went sideways at the end, and another that was a 54 that had a 10-line temple thing with getting called by the guards. But yeah, this sort of fixed that, so you know, I'm very happy with this time. I'm totally satisfied. I was saying earlier this week, like if I would get some a 53-minute range time or anything like that, or 54, I'll be totally satisfied. But yeah. So there we go. Almost a sub 50 in-game time. Although, you know, it's... Yeah, we still note that usually it's not always accurate. It does take certain things into account, but yeah. There you go. That's this game, and that's this speedrun. I also speedrun All Dark Magic, and that has the full ending that you play in the end. And that's a very cool fight too, so I could definitely recommend checking that out too. Alright, with that said, that wraps it up for me, I guess. Thanks everybody for watching, I hope you all enjoyed, and also thanks to Valuethon for letting both Garfield Con the Act and this run in. It's been a blast playing both of these games, and yeah. Also shoutouts to the WayForward speedrunning community, because this game is made by WayForward, and if you want to learn the speedrun of this game, 80% Pirate Mode, no out of bounds in this case, is a very fun first speedrun to learn. So I could definitely recommend that. But yeah, be sure to check out the speedrun.com page. You can find the Discord there. Join that, and there's lots of people more than willing to help out with whatever questions you have. So yeah, be sure to check that out. And yeah, shoutouts to the Shantae speedrunning community once again. And be sure to keep donating for Save the Children. And yeah, I hope you have a good rest of the weekend and enjoy some more awesome runs. And I'm signing off. Alright, take care.